Hello friends, day 12, here we are, another live conversation around rethinking your midweek drink or just looking at your drinking habits, your drinking behaviours and considering a new perspective on it. So I'm here to share that with you, my friends. Tonight we're going to be gently talking about all or nothing mindset around alcohol. And if there's one thing that is close to my heart, and we are not friends on Facebook, we should be, I have had a rant before about moderation, because you'll know that it's not just about drinking less. It's really around, reclaiming our power, rewriting the rules entirely, and being mindful that, other people's idea of moderation doesn't have to be yours. So let's dive into this together with what we would call the beginner's mindset. And I know as a high achiever, a beginner's mindset always feels kind of sucky at the beginning. But once you get mastery of something, of course, you don't even think twice about it. So the idea with this tonight is that you don't have to quit to start. Often when we are questioning our relationship with alcohol, the first fear is always going to be, am I going to have to quit forever to feel better? And that belief in itself can keep you stuck. So I clearly want to say this to you, my friend, is that you do not have to quit to start. You just have to start where you are in the messy middle with intention, with curiosity, and with a fuck ton of self-compassion. So let's talk about moderation for a second. It is not about counting drinks. It is not how much we drink or trying to white knuckle our way through social events. It is about conscious choice. It is about asking ourselves, why am I drinking? How do I want to feel? And it is all about learning how to stay emotionally present in those moments when it feels like you just want to slide down the hill or cave or give in to into that feeling, and simply being able to stay emotionally present and give yourself options. If alcohol was once your go-to for unwinding, for belonging, for fun, moderation really starts with exploring what else could feel good too. Because you're not bad for wanting to balance, you're brave for even asking the question, right? And I think that's where other people get caught up, is that, other people can wish that you could drink in moderation. That is just the most bizarrest thing. They wish something upon you, that technically is harmful to you or just no longer serves you, and yet they wish that you would put it back in your life because they simply want to feel more comfortable around you. Yeah, fascinating. Blows my mind, right? But here's a few reflection prompts for defining your version of moderation. Something to consider, right, is we always get to look at things with a different perspective. We never have to just trust that our first initial thought about moderation is the truth. We can slide a few new sneaky little beliefs underneath your nose and see what smells good to you. So let's look at 3 different moderation. Once again, my dog, Trixie. What is she even doing? You're coming for a walk with me to grab my dog. Trixie! Very noisy. And she's just standing at the gate, just barking at nothing. She is old though, so I will give her that. Right, where was I? Sorry. Here we go. What would... My lighting's gone all funny now. All right, here we go. Personal moderation formula. 3 things, 3 questions to ask yourself. What would moderation look like for you? Not what culture says. So not what you're conditioned to, not what other people think it should be. What is your definition of moderation? Number 2, where else in your life are you good at moderating? Are you good at moderating your food? Are you good at moderating screen time? Are you good at moderating at work? There are so many other areas in our life where we moderate, this thing called balance. We moderate ourselves. Where else are you doing it? And how can you use that formula or that process to take yourself through this as well? And then number 3 is, on the flip side of that, where do I struggle with moderation? So, where am I binge watching Netflix? Where am I binging on consuming? Where am I binging on food? Where am I binging on procrastination, right? Anything like that. And get curious around why might that be. Curiosity over control, always. Compassion over perfection, like my top tonight. Perfectly imperfect. That's what we all are. Compassion over perfection, and shame never ever leads to lasting change. So always safety does. When we are safe and grounded and we feel like it is safe for us to make change, then we will make change. Let's also talk about quickly breaks without burnout. So when we give ourselves a break, we're not punishing ourselves. We're not restricting ourselves. We are simply giving ourselves space. You do not need to wait until dry July, or you do not need to Feb fast to experiment with this. You could choose a weekend. You could choose a birthday month. You could choose your own mindful pause, right? It could be this week. It could be tonight. It could be tomorrow night. What would a 3-day, what would a 7-day, what would a 30-day break look like for you? And of course, with curiosity, what do you fear that you'll miss out on? I mean, it's always about FOMO, right? Human brain. We never want to miss out. We never want to be exiled. We never want to be rejected. What fear do you have around missing out? So what FOMO have you got, my friend? And then another question to look at would be, and if you're into self-development books, is Gap or Gain, Gap versus Gain is a really good book to have a look at. Really good for business, really good for your personal self-development, and interestingly enough is really good for over-drinking as well. What might you gain? What might you gain by having a break this week? Breaks are not about proving something to anyone. They are simply about listening to yourself, about creating space for clarity, seeing what drops in. Now, as I said at the beginning, beginner's mindset sucks ass for a high achiever, but we didn't get there by not having a beginner's mindset. So this is just another one of those things where maybe we just got to go right back to the beginning, right? Build that solid foundation so that we can become a master at it. So there's something in Buddha teachings that they call Shashin, I think. Can't say it properly. But it's all around beginner's mind. It means approaching something as if you're seeing it for the very, very first time. Free from judgment, free from expectation. And that's how we build new patterns. Not by being experts, but simply by staying open. So what if this was your beginner's path? So with that, my friends, a short one tonight, Laurie won't go on too much longer, is if the thought of moderation or taking a break simply brings up fear, resistance or confusion, you are not alone. You are being a human. That is actually part of the transformation. You don't need to have a label. You don't need to commit forever. You just need to say to yourself, I want something more than this. And I am willing to explore what that looks like. And that, my friend, is more than enough. Now, if you are ready to take your sober curiosity to the next stage, if you want to look at how you can stop over drinking in 90 days, please join my program. Reach out, apply, see if you're a fit. If you want more resources, check out my bio. There's a whole link tree of them. And of course, if you've got any questions, please holler out. And I will be back tomorrow night with day 13 of this live series. All right, my friends, have a good evening. Bye.